Elon Musk, record secret message for Black millionaire and homeless man. Find out what it is. The city was alive with neon, flickering like a heartbeat in the restless night. Everywhere you looked, giant screens flashed Elon Musk's latest bombshell. A secret message, recorded by the man himself, meant only for two impossible strangers, a wealthy black millionaire and a homeless man once hailed as a tech genius. The streets buzzed with rumors and disbelief. Everyone wondered what could connect these two, and what hidden truth did Musk want only them to hear. Marcus stared at his phone, the screen's light trembling against his cold fingers. The message had slipped out by mistake. It wasn't meant to be public, not now. A part of him wanted to shut it down, erase every trace. But curiosity gnawed at his chest, tightening his throat. This wasn't just about some crazy tech stunt. It was personal. Deep in his bloodline, Marcus felt a century of expectations, of battles fought with fists and minds alike. Now, Musk's voice whispered through his headphones, a puzzle wrapped in riddles, cloaked in silent warnings. Across town, Samuel shivered beneath a threadbare blanket, the stagnant air biting through his worn jacket. Once, people praised his brilliance, lines of code and inventions that could have changed the world. Now, he was a ghost amid the endless crowd, his past a jagged scar. That message, it slammed into him like a freight train. If Musk had singled him out, there had to be a reason. A blast of hope burned against the rubble of his broken days. Hope and fear tangled like shadows, chasing the neon glow. And then came the hunt, a merciless corporation, led by Musk's fiercest rival, caught wind of the message. They wanted it dead or alive, secrets, power, a future rewritten by those who controlled this voice from the shadows. Marcas enciamo el had no clue who to trust. The city's streets pulsan con denga. Every glance sentía como una amenaza. Una sombra se apodó de la multitud, silente, guardante, esperando. Marcas clenchaba sus manos, corazón se pegaba. ¿Será que este mensaje tenía un camino o una trapa posta de despederadeas quitero? ¡Ja! Samuel tembló con perrente encima. Samuel's hands trembled with the itch to run, to fight, and maybe, finally, to heal. Somewhere in that caótica recordante, leía secreto no solo acerca de tecnología, but sí algo del pasado entre ellos, un pasado que nadie pudiera entender solo. Neon strobe lights gastaron largos en trozos con amos de lluvia robados. In this city, burning with ambition and decay, a question burned inside them both, sharper than any blade. When the truth finally breaks through the noise, will Marcus and Samuel be ready for what it will tear apart, or what it will bind together forever? Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important warning. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube removed their subscriptions without notice. Take a quick look at the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I don't want you to miss any exclusive content that's coming. And since you're here, drop a powerful like. That really helps me with the algorithm. Oh, and let me know in the comments, what city are you watching from? I love getting to know every amazing person who's part of this community. Your participation makes all the difference. Let's interact. The air thickened as sirens wailed in the distance. The city alive, yet cold. Marcus's heart raced on the edge. A large screen above them flickered, sparks flying as it exploded into a shower of glass and metal, sending sharp noise ricocheting through the night. People screamed, scattered like startled pigeons. Marcus ducked instinctively, his breath catching. Samuel sprang to his feet, eyes wide, the thrill of danger electrifying him. "What just happened?" he shouted, adrenaline thrumming through him. Horns blared and chaos surged, but amidst the panic, another sound cut through like a dagger. A voice, familiar yet eerie. "Marcus! Samuel!" It was Elon's voice, booming from all corners, distorted yet keenly present. The screens across the block flickered back to life, the flames and debris exposing a different side of the message. And while that explosion may have seemed random, Musk's voice echoed, "The real truth is far more explosive." Marcus's gut twisted. What truth? Samuel stepped closer, eyes glued to the screens, where a new video flickered to life. One they hadn't seen before. The audio came through sharp and clear. "I didn't just choose you two by chance." Musk's voice now was low, conspiratorial. "What do you think you know about the secrets I hold? That knowledge is just the beginning. The reason your lives intertwine is not just coincidence. It's legacy. And within that legacy lies the key to everything." A powerful jolt coursed through Marcus. His mind whirled. Legacy? What did he mean? Samuel's face paled as a realization struck him, mirrored in Marcus's widening eyes. They exchanged glances loaded with unspoken fear. Then Musk continued, piercing their hearts with the truth he laid bare. "Marcus, the fortune in your name hasn't just been built upon hard work. It traces back to a family who manipulated technology for centuries, struck deals in the shadows." The screen cut to an image, a faded photograph that captivated their attention. An old man, his face sharp and familiar. It was Marcus's great-grandfather, but standing next to him was a figure Samuel recognized. The shock blanketed the air. "No," Samuel whispered, backing away, panic creeping up his spine. "That can't be. He couldn't be involved." "Samuel, your past with that company, with the tech world? It was all just a facade. You're much more than what they made you believe." Musk's voice cut through the lingering smoke, urgent with unearthed truths. "This game of yours is deeper than you thought. It was designed by your family and mine. We were chosen." Every word felt like a punch. What did this mean? Lines were drawn. Ties that bound broke free with fierce intensity. The crowd shifted, confusion spreading like wildfire. "Musk is playing us!" someone shouted from the back. But their words faded into hushed whispers. Marcus leaned closer, shaking, mouth dry. "What do you mean, chosen? Whose game? What are we supposed to do?" But the screens flickered again, and a heavy silence emerged as the camera panned to another familiar figure, someone neither had expected. In the shadowy corner of the screen stood an unexpected player, a figure draped in an elegant suit, face obscured but unmistakably connected to both of them. "Recognize him?" Musk taunted, challenge lacing his tone. "The secret's already here, buried in your blood. Will you embrace it, or fight against your own legacy? Shock held them in place, the looming danger humming with energy. Just as they thought they understood, the world twisted again, and through the chaos, under neon lights still dripping with rain, a single question hung, echoing louder than all the rest. Who were they really, and how deep did the lies run? Marcus and Samuel stepped back, hearts racing, unknowing of the storm gathering around them. A storm set to change everything they thought they knew forever. The sirens wailed, the neon lights flickered wildly, and the tension hung thick like smoke in the air. Marcus and Samuel stood at the edge of a crossroads. Hearts racing, eyes darting. Just when they thought they were on the verge of something grand, an unexpected shadow loomed closer. The message had ignited something in both of them, a spark, a light in the darkness of their lives. But that light flickered dangerously in the overwhelming chaos surrounding them. Suddenly, an explosion shattered the night. A nearby building erupted in flames, bright orange and yellow spilling into the dark sky, illuminating terrified faces. It echoed like thunder, sending shockwaves through the street. A cloud of debris and dust roared into the air, swallowing everything in its path. Marcus stumbled back. Samuel's eyes widened as he instinctively grabbed his friend's arm, anchoring them both amidst the chaos. But as they swayed in the upheaval, something caught Samuel's attention in the smoke. A figure emerged, an unrecognizable silhouette. The crowd gasped. The figure staggered, but it was not the flames that held their focus. "Samuel!" a voice cried out, shrill and desperate. Despite the chaos, it cut through the clamor like glass breaking. The figure stumbled closer, clutching something, a small device in hand, glowing ominously against the night. Marcus's heart raced. "Who is it?" The figure stepped into the light, revealing a woman, face streaked with dirt and terror. "I'm sorry. I had to. You need to listen." It was Karen, an ambitious tech reporter who had been following Musk's every word and move like a hawk. Then, with wide, frantic eyes, she thrust the device toward them. "This is what you need! This changes everything!" Before they could react, a loud crack split the air. An armed group emerged from the alleyways, faces obscured, their purpose menacing. Eyes glinting, they were there for the same thing. Musk's dangerous secret. Time compressed. Marcus and Samuel realized they were not simply players in someone else's game, but key pieces in a much larger scheme. "Drop it, Karen," a voice growled, cold as ice, "and walk away. This doesn't concern you." The crowd gathered, breaths held, nerves electrified. The world felt like it was collapsing, layers of intrigue peeling back, exposing raw, hidden truths. Yet under that gauzy veil of chaos, something deeper twisted. "Do you know what this is?" Karen cried, clutching the device tighter. "It's a digital map of how the tech companies are manipulating you. Men like Musk, you think he's different? It's all a twisted game." Marcus and Samuel exchanged glances. The weight of her words crashed down upon them. Musk, the genius they both idolized, possibly entangled in something darker than they could imagine? But before they could process it, she continued, "Marcus, your family, they're deeper in this mess than you think. And Samuel, your break from the scene? It was no accident. Shock twisted through their bodies like ice. They had been driven apart by the very forces that now sought to control their fates. As the armed figures drew closer, the streets pulsed with fear, the crowd murmuring, the danger rising like steam. "Get out of here! Now!" Samuel shouted to Marcus. But as they turned, someone from the crowd screamed. A shot rang out. Time froze. In that heartbeat, everything shifted. Relationships cracked, secrets splintered, lives altered. And just like that, amidst the chaos of fire and fear, new truths threatened to emerge. Would they uncover the hidden connections binding them, or watch as the flames consumed them all? The shot rang out, a piercing crack splitting the air. Time froze. The crowd gasped. Every eye turned, hearts pounding in sync. Marcus and Samuel barely had a moment to think as the chaos surged around them. "Run!" Samuel shouted. But before they could move, Karen collapsed to the ground, the glowing device slipping from her fingers. A trickle of blood ran from her temple, glistening in the neon lights. "No!" Marcus cried, the word tearing from his chest. In that moment, the crowd screamed, bodies shifting like a tide of panic. The armed figures advanced, eyes glinting with cold precision. Time sped back up. Samuel grabbed Marcus's arm, yanking him toward the alley. "We can't stay here. We need to go." But instead of fleeing, Marcus froze, transfixed by Karen's stillness. What had just happened? She needs help," he whispered, the words thick with dread. Samuel glanced back, torn between duty and fear. "She's done. We have to save ourselves." But as Marcus took a step toward Karen, something inside him snapped. "No, you don't get it. This was never just about us." Before he could process it, the armed figures moved closer. Someone shouted from the back, "It's a setup!" It felt as if the world was tilting on its axis. In an instant, Marcus's breathing quickened. His past, his family, his legacy, all of it spun around him, blurring into chaos. Suddenly, a booming voice echoed from the sky, flickering screens around them lighting up again. "Marcus, Samuel, time is short!" The voice belonged to MUSK, stirring memories of admiration and ambition. "You've been given a choice, and it's time you understood who's really playing." Marcus's blood ran cold. "What do you mean?" he yelled, frustration bleeding into desperation. The crowd quieted, eyes glued to the screens as MUSK continued. "Your lives, intertwined by more than just chance. A legacy bound in shadows." The screen switched to show an image of a glimmering building, the very headquarters of the tech giant MUSK ran. A fortress of innovation. "And you've been the pawns, both of you!" "What?" Samuel shouted, disbelief etched across his face. "You're saying we're just puppets in your game?" "No!" The recovery surged within Marcus. "We can turn the tables!" But then came the shocking twist. The figure behind the armed group stepped forward, slowly peeling off a mask, revealing a familiar, haunting face. It was Emin, Marcus's estranged brother, thought to have been lost in the chaos of the tech world. "Emin?" Marcus's voice was barely a whisper, like glass cracking. "You The crowd gasped, disbelief rippling through them. "Welcome back, brother," Emin said with a smirk, eyes glinting with a cold edge. "What is this?" Samuel asked, backing away. "Why are you working with them?" "Because," Emin laughed darkly, "this was always about control. Father would be proud." Each word dripped with malice, igniting something deep within Marcus. "This can't be," Samuel stammered, shock sweeping over him like a cold tide. "You sold out your own brother?" Emin's gaze turned sharp. "I didn't choose this. Father did, and you're both too naive to see it." Everything shifted. A seismic change in their reality. The truth hung heavy, pressing down on them like the weight of 1,000 eyes. Suddenly, Marcus felt the ground crumble beneath him, the world spiraling out of control. A shudder ran through the crowd, fear and tension electrifying the air. Sirens blared, a reminder of the stakes rising. The game was bigger, darker. But how far did the lies run? And how could they outrun a legacy built on deceit? Marcus's heart raced. Would they confront Emin? Or would they lose everything to legacy and shadow? The question lingered, heavy like smoke in the cold night air. Marcus and Samuel stood in the pulsing heart of the city, anticipation buzzing between them like static. The message, MUSK's voice still echoed in their minds, heavy with unspoken truths. Each breath was a mix of excitement and dread as they tried to understand what this meant for their lives. Suddenly, a loud crash shattered the night. Glass shattered in a nearby alley, sending shards flying like shooting stars. The city's violence had a way of bleeding into quiet moments, and as they turned, their hearts raced faster. A crowd roared, voices layered with shock as figures lunged through the chaos. "No, wait!" Someone screamed. Panic rippled through the throng. Marcus looked to Samuel, eyes wide. "Do you see that?" But before he could blink, chaos erupted. A car veered sharply, tires screeching against the slick pavement. It plowed into a group of bystanders, their startled faces etched in terror as they scattered. Samuel gasped, the breath rushing from his lungs. Everything slowed. The world moved in fast forward, while their lives held in suspension. Then, from the wreckage, a figure stumbled out. It was a woman, ripped jeans, wild hair, eyes wide with fear. Her hands were smeared in crimson. She screamed, but the sound was drowned in the cacophony, drowned in disbelief. "He's coming! He's coming!" Before they could process her words, shadows darted behind her. A sturdy man in a black suit emerged, eyes burning, face twisted in fury. In that instant, he looked like a demon, rage personified. The woman shouted again, "Get away! He's not who you think he is." Ji-hoon, a well-known name in the city, a tech prodigy gone rogue, the one who once stood shoulder to shoulder with Marcus in boardrooms. "Samuel, he's your brother!" The revelation whipped through Samuel like a physical blow. "What?" Samuel's heart crashed against his ribs. The world blurred, the noise faded, and everything became a tunnel, the chaos diminishing as shock took root. "No, that can't be right!" "Don't listen to her!" Ji-hoon's voice cut like glass. "She's lying!" But the woman pointed a trembling finger. "Your family. They've been tracking you, Samuel. They know everything." It was a truth wrapped in a scream, and it held a weight that pressed down on Samuel like concrete. His past, rising from the ashes, taunted him with every whisper. Marcus's mouth went dry. "Your brother You never said anything. Because I didn't know. Samuel stumbled back, eyes darting between Jihoon and Marcus, fear coiling in his stomach. His memories twisted like branches, a truth buried deep, rising like a flood. I thought she was dead, but it wasn't just a family reunion. Shadows shifted in the crowd. The rival corporation lurked, smiling suits hidden in the chaos, watching him, watching Marcus. Their interest suddenly felt less about a tech message and more about silencing a truth that could break them all apart. Siren wails filled the air like mournful cries. Marcus felt the weight of his legacy push down on him harder. Was this message truly a blessing or a curse? Would uncovering the truth unite them or tear them apart? Their world spun around them, wilder than any night they could have imagined. A moment of clarity beneath the chaos. "Samuel!" Marcus shouted, grabbing his friend's shoulder. "We need to go." But as they turned, the streetlights flickered. The shadows claimed closer. Samuel stood frozen, torn between the brother he barely knew and the life he barely understood. "What will you choose?" the woman whispered, her voice a blend of hope and fear. They were left with a shattered reality, a choice that loomed larger than the blinking lights surrounding them. In this instant, everything changed. Would they run or fight, together or apart? As the sirens blared, they both faced a chilling truth. The past was unearthing, and with each second, the danger drew nearer. The streets felt electric, anticipation buzzing like live wires. Marcus and Samuel were two pieces of a puzzle they hadn't even begun to understand. Suddenly, the sky above them shattered. A blinding flash lit up the darkness, followed by an earth-shattering boom. Glass shattered, and screams pierced through the air. People scattered like leaves in a hurricane. Marcus instinctively yanked Samuel to the ground, trapping him beneath his body. "Get down!" Marcus yelled, heart racing. But then came the stench. A thick, choking smoke swirling in with the debris, curling around them. Panic clawed at both men. They could barely see through the haze, but they could feel the heat pulsing from the explosion. Wavering forms moved in and out of view, faces twisted with dread. From the shadows, a figure emerged, silhouetted against the flames. A woman covered in soot, her eyes wide with terror. "They're coming! We have to run!" Before Marcus or Samuel could fully grasp what was happening, the woman lunged forward, dragging them away from the chaos. They stumbled after her, adrenaline pumping through their veins. "Who are you?" Samuel shouted, struggling to keep up. "I know about the message. We don't have time for details. Just trust me." She turned a corner, and they followed, breathless. They ducked into a narrow alley, the night heavy with the scent of smoke and fear. Their ragged breathing filled the silence, until she finally stopped, leaning against the wall, catching her breath. Her face, half hidden in shadows, looked familiar. "Wait," Marcus whispered. "I know you." "Your Grace, the coder, the one who disappeared." Her eyes glinted with a mixture of pain and urgency. "I never disappeared. I was hidden. They took my work, my inventions. The corporation is after me. They think I know the secrets behind MUSK's message." Shock rippled between them. Marcus had heard the whispers of what Grace had once achieved. Her algorithms, her understanding of AI that could have transformed the industry. But what did she mean about secrets? "They're not just coming for tech," she continued, her voice trembling. "They want something much bigger. You two, you're part of this. You're not just random choices. You're connected to the message in ways you can't even imagine." Before either man could respond, a cacophony of sirens roared back to life outside the alley. The glow of lights encroached, bearing down. "Please, you have to let me show you," Grace pleaded, desperation tightening her features. Marcus clenched his fists. The weight of history surged within him. "What are you saying? What is it you need to tell us?" But just as she opened her mouth to reply, a group of men stormed into the alley, sharp faces hiding under dark hoods. They looked like shadows with intent, all aggression and purpose. "Get down!" Marcus shouted, yanking Samuel behind him as Grace turned pale. Gunfire erupted, bullets pinging off the brick walls and ricocheting off metal trash cans. The clatter echoed like thunder. Adrenaline surged, blinding every thought but survival. Just then, a shot rang out. Grace fell, collapsing into the alley, eyes wide in shock as she clutched her side. "No! Grace!" Marcus screamed, rushing forward. But as he reached her, the entire world tilted. The figures lurched closer, their shadows swallowing him whole. Samuel watched, frozen, fear paralyzing him. Then, through the chaos, a realization struck him deeper than the bullets flying around them. Grace had a secret. One that could dismantle everything they thought they knew about MUSK's message. Something that bound them all together, pulling threads of fate tighter. As Marcus knelt beside Grace, he sensed the full weight of it all. Their secrets, their futures, shifting. Teetering on the brink of revelation. Would they discover the truth before it was too late? Or would the dark unknown consume them, erasing every piece of hope they'd clung to? Caught in the swirling storm, they all faced that question, hearts pounding, desperate to uncover what lay ahead. The truth loomed just ahead, a shadow growing taller with every heartbeat. Marcus felt an electric, but before they could dig deeper, a sudden chaos erupted around them. A massive explosion cracked through the night, shattering the neon glow into fragments. Glass rained down like crystal tears from nearby buildings. Marcus instinctively grabbed Samuel by the arm, pulling him close as they stumbled back into a narrow alley. The air thickened with smoke and dust, confusion swirling like a storm. "What the hell was that?" Samuel rasped, panic creeping into his voice. "I don't know," Marcus yelled, his heart hammering. "But we need to move." They darted down the alley, shadows flickering around them, a twisted dance of fear and urgency. Sirens wailed, a haunting symphony joining the chaos. The night felt alive, charged with a dark energy that made Marcus's skin crawl, and then a figure appeared through the haze. A woman, her face obscured by a thick hood, emerged from the smoke like a ghost. She moved with eerie confidence, her eyes glinting beneath the shadows. She held a small device in her hand. Blinking lights flickered frantically. "Stop!" she commanded, her voice cutting through the disarray like a knife. Swallowed by her hood, a glint of familiarity struck Marcus hard. Samuel froze, whispering, "Do you know her?" a wave of recognition crashed over Marcus. That voice, those eyes, they belonged to Maya, a tech engineer he'd worked with years back. The last time he'd seen her, she was on the brink of creating a revolutionary technology before she vanished without a word. Why was she here now? Her eyes locked onto his, intense, searching, pleading. "You didn't know, did you?" "Know what?" Marcus shouted back, frustration boiling. "The message! It's not just for you two!" Her words fired off like bullets. "It's the key to something much bigger, and they're coming for it." "Who?" Samuel stepped forward, chest rising and falling quickly. "Who's coming?" Maya's gaze flickered back, wide and frightened. "The corporation! They're hiding something!" "A connection to both of you. Your pasts are intertwined!" "What are you talking about?" Marcus's breath caught in his throat. With a swift motion, she pressed a button on the device. A holographic image burst to life. A web of connections, intertwining lines and faces spun into existence. Marcus's eyes widened as he spotted familiar names and dates, threads pulling at the corners of his memory. A twisted family tree he never wanted to uncover. "Those you thought you lost." Maya's voice shook. "They are linked to Samuel and to you. The truth will tear down the lives you've built, but it will also reveal what you're meant to become together." Before Marcus could respond, loud footsteps echoed from the mouth of the alley. Shadows loomed, dark forms inching closer. Panic surged through him. "We need to go now! Run!" Samuel shouted, pulling Marcus away from Maya, who stood frozen, eyes wide with fear. The reality of her words heavy in the air. As they sprinted away, the weight of her revelations burrowed deep inside them. The neon city trailed behind them like a fading memory, but something was shifting. And then, just as the darkness threatened to swallow them whole, the sound of an explosion shattered the night once again. This one hit closer, the ground trembling, the very foundation of their world cracking apart. "What have we gotten ourselves into?" Marcus gasped, the shadows closing in. Neither could answer. Behind them, the city was aflame with secrets, and the truth was just beginning to ignite. The streets trembled under their feet, urgency propelling Marcus and Samuel forward. Every heartbeat pulsed with fear, every step echoed with uncertainty. The city loomed around them, alive with chaos, flashing lights and distant cries. Then the air thickened with something new, a presence, heavy and dark. "Keep moving," Samuel urged, but Marcus felt an anchor pulling him back. It was the weight of those words, the truth of ties that bound them, lingering in the air like smoke. What did she mean? He gasped, his breath catching in his throat. Then it happened. An explosion of blinding light lit up the alley, illuminating their faces. Air whooshed out, a shockwave slamming into them. They hit the ground hard, grit scratching at their skin. Dazed, Marcus blinked against the brightness, struggling to make sense of the turning world. "Get up! We have to—" Samuel started, but before he could finish, a deafening roar filled the space. A massive figure loomed in the smoke, a nearly featureless mass charging towards them. They squinted, the darkness giving way. But just as that shadow drew close, a chilling sound erupted. A voice, distorted but sharp. "This ends now!" The figure was none other than Ji-hoon, his brother, once thought lost. But he stood there, transformed by rage, eyes wild, face contorted in fury. You should have stayed out of this, Samuel. Each word came out like a bullet. What are you doing? Samuel's voice cracked, confusion washing over him. You're with them? Ji-hoon stepped forward, the air charged with tension. I am with no one but myself. You think I'm here to help you? It was never about protecting you. His gaze shifted, locking onto Marcus. All along, it was about legacy. Mine. Suddenly, Maya screamed, a sound that cut through the chaos. No, you don't understand. He's not just a threat. He's part of this. But as her words tumbled out, the roof of a nearby building crumbled. Bricks rained down, crashing around them. Samuel grabbed Marcus, yanking him toward cover. Heart pounding. Every instinct screamed at him to flee. But there was Ji-hoon standing, seemingly untouchable. Look outside! Look at what they've all done! Ji-hoon shouted, voice raw with anger. You're naive to think you can fight this without knowing who's pulling the strings. What are you talking about? Marcus shouted back, confusion mixing with fear. What strings? His mind reeled, trying to place everything, but the picture shifted again. The rubble settled, and through the chaos, they all stared at Ji-hoon, waiting for clarity, searching for meaning. That's when he laughed. A deep, hollow sound. I created the tech you think you outsmarted, and this is all just part of my bigger plan. We were always pawns in the same game. The words struck like lightning, leaving Marcus and Samuel reeling. Everything they thought they knew shattered, scattered like ashes in the wind. You? Samuel choked, betrayal twisting in his gut. You've been behind all of this? Not just me, Ji-hoon said, a smirk creeping across his lips. We're family after all, and family looks out for each other until it's time to take the throne. Just then, another explosion. A flash of fire erupted from the building behind them. It lit up the faces around, shocked and horrified, drowning out every thought. Maya struggled to her feet, blood dripping from her temple. She gasped, "You can't!" This changes everything. But Ji-hoon just laughed again, cold and menacing, his eyes glinting. Nothing changes. It's all part of the plan. As the reality crashed down like a wave, Marcus felt the ground pull away. All at once, he understood. It was never just about secrets or messages. It was about a legacy, intertwined with lies, battles fought behind the curtain. "Run!" Samuel yelled, but in that moment, the world opened wide, possibilities unspooled in the darkness. What would they choose? Stand and confront the family that had betrayed them, or disappear into the night, leaving behind the chaos and the truth. Heart racing, breath quickening, their fates trembled in the balance, the truth looming larger than life. As flames flickered and the chaos surged around them, a burning question remained. What would they uncover next? And would it destroy them, or finally set them free? The flames still danced behind them, illuminating the dark faces around. Marcus felt the heat wash over him, a reminder that danger was crawling closer. "It's all part of the plan," Ji-hoon mocked, his words cutting like ice. "You think you can run from your family's legacy?" "Shut up!" Samuel yelled, fists clenched in fury. He felt a surge of adrenaline, the kind that made your heart race and your thoughts break apart. "We'll break free! We're not pawns!" "That's where you're wrong," Ji-hoon sneered. "You'll never escape this, no matter how far you run." As shadows crept closer, Maya stumbled back against the wall. clutching her side where blood trickled down her arm. "Ji-hoon, it's not too late," she cried, desperation edging her voice. "We can change this." But he didn't flinch, didn't show an ounce of guilt. "No, Maya, you sow the seeds of your own disaster." His eyes flashed with a wild intensity as the chaos intensified around them. From behind, a flicker caught Marcus's eye. Another figure emerged through the smoke. A familiar silhouette stepped out, moving cautiously, each step deliberate. It was Grace, who had dragged them into this nightmare. Her face was smeared with grime, but her focus was sharp. "I'm not leaving without the truth," she shouted, the urgency in her voice pushing through the fear. "What do you mean?" Samuel shouted back, confusion twisting his gut. "Do you think any of this is random?" Grace's voice broke into a sharp clarity, piercing the tension. "How you're linked. It runs deeper than family. They're using you." The crowd lurched, whispers filling the air like a thick fog. They stared, shocked, each face echoing the uncertainty swirling around. "What do you mean?" Marcus demanded, his heart thrumming. "The tech you thought was yours, it's been stolen. They've been rewriting your legacies together." Her words struck like lightning, unraveling something inside him. But before anyone could react, the world shifted. An unseen voice blasted through, drowning everything else. "Enough!" A booming echo enveloped them, and suddenly everything fell silent. Even the explosions faded against its might. In the haze, a figure emerged, tall and imposing. The crowd parted like waves. It was their father, dressed in a tailored suit that screamed authority. He moved with purpose, eyes glimmering with a manic energy. "I have waited long enough." "Dad?" Samuel's voice barely rose above a whisper, disbelief flooding his features. This can't be happening," Marcus stammered, heart racing. "You're supposed to be out of our lives." "Not anymore," the father shot back, voice heavy with finality. "You think you can escape? I built everything. Those lies, they were designed to protect you." "But they've done nothing but destroy us," Marcus replied, shaking with rage and confusion. "Enough." He raised a hand, and the ground shook, echoing their father's fury. "It's time for you both to understand your place in this world." Just then, from beneath his suit, he pulled out a device so sleek, so familiar. The surface shimmered with hidden codes lighting up the dark alley. Maya's eyes widened in horror. "What do you have?" she whispered. "The key to our legacy," their father declared, stepping closer. "It's time you learned what you really are. A means to an end for me. Something I've waited years to control." The world shifted again. In an instant, the truth exploded, morphing their understanding. Marcus's vision narrowed as Samuel shouted, a noise lost to the chaos around them. But in that moment, clarity pierced Marcus's thoughts. For underneath all the burning chaos, a darker secret simmered, something that twisted their very identities and shattered their beliefs. As they stood there, the reality warped. It all started to make sense. "Stand down, father!" Grace yelled, bravely confronting him as the shadows closed in. But before he could respond, a sudden blast of noise erupted like thunder. In the instant it took for the air to crackle, everything changed. A shadowy figure leaped from behind, slamming into their father and knocking him down. "No!" Samuel screamed as he recognized the figure. But realization struck too late. As the dust settled, the figure revealed itself, and a breath hitched in Marcus's throat. Amara? Standing defiantly, their long-lost sister returned from the embrace of darkness. A devastating twist unraveled the world they thought they knew. Family ties stretched taut and fraying. And with her return, silence hung like a shroud. A question etched in the air. What other truths would tumble from these shadows? What secrets awaited in the dark? With a flicker of recognition, Marcus stared at Amara, his sister, the one they had thought lost forever. "You shouldn't be here." His heart raced, fear and relief tangled together. "Long story," she replied breathlessly, glancing at Ji-hoon, then back at them. "But I've come to stop this madness. You don't know what they've been planning." "Stop what?" Samuel's voice quaked, caught between anger and confusion. "You're part of the family behind this chaos." "No, I was trying to escape. I didn't want any of this." Amara's eyes pleaded as she stepped closer, pain etched on her face. "You have to believe me. They're manipulating our lives." Their father, still reeling from Ji-hoon's attack, regained his composure. "Enough games!" He pointed a finger, a command simmering beneath a calm facade. "You've crossed into dangerous territory. You'll regret this." "But you've left us no choice," Grace shouted, edging closer to Marcus and Samuel. "Our lives, they've been spent in shadows, and it's time we step into the light." The atmosphere thickened, charged with a blend of fear and defiance. Marcus took a step forward, an unfamiliar confidence surging within him. "If we're part of this legacy, then let's take control of it." Across the debris-strewn alley, Ji-hoon scoffed, ready to leap. "You're just children, pretending to play in a world far greater than you understand. This is about power. Power that comes with lies." Maya shot back, anger fueling her voice. "And we're done being pawns." But just then, a deafening sound erupted. A roar of sirens closed in, blaring like an alarm bell. The streetlights flickered, shadows danced, and the threat surged. A spotlight sliced through the chaos, illuminating the faces of the armed men who had been lurking, drawn to the tension. "Get out of here!" Amara shouted, her voice fierce, guiding them toward a narrow escape. "Not without Anya!" Marcus protested, glancing back at the bloodied Grace lying on the ground. Shadows loomed, and time was slipping. "Go. Now!" Grace gasped, urgency painting her features. "Make this count!" As the chaos swelled, a collective gasp erupted from the crowd watching in horror. The shadows hovered closer, taunting with potential violence. In a split-second decision, Samuel pulled Marcus toward Amara. "Take us to safety! We can't leave her behind." But Amara shook her head. "We'll come back for her. We need to survive this first." Each heartbeat thundered in their ears. They pushed through the crowd, the weight of guilt dragging behind them. But the stakes were too high. Just as they fled into the tumult, a flash of light erupted where Grace laid, drawing their attention back. A swirling vortex of colors exploded across the sky above. The technological marvel that had originally caught MUSK's attention, now ignited with pure potential. "Is that?" Marcus whispered, shock flooding his senses. "It's our chance!" Amara shouted, cackling with glee, her voice fierce against the chaos. "Don't let fear chain you!" The moment felt electric, an opportunity sparking new hope within the dark. Regardless of all that had transpired, they moved as one, hearts pounding, every step a declaration of defiance. In that space, they became what they were meant to be. Siblings, a united front against a weight of unfinished business sat heavy on their hearts, but it wouldn't stop them. They didn't know what tomorrows awaited, but together they would face whatever came, carving out their destiny with renewed purpose. As they faded into the night, an urgency rippled through the air, and just like that, the world felt open before them. And as they raced into the unknown, a haunting question grated against the darkness. What would tomorrow hold for the children of legacy caught in a web of forgotten truths? You have to subscribe now! We cannot let you miss the upcoming exclusive stories that will unravel this intense saga even further. Smash that like button now to feed the algorithm. We need your support more than ever. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about this ending. What do you think happened to Grace? Did they truly escape their family's legacy? Your voices matter. And don't wait even a second longer